Welcome back to AI Business English Daily. In the next 15 minutes, we'll unpack one important story from the world of AI, business, and technology and help you learn the English behind it.
Today we're talking about OpenAI's new partner network. And the bigger question is, if powerful AI models are already widely available, is the real bottleneck now implementation?
Right. And to start off, I want you to imagine, just for a second, that you have been given the keys to the absolute most powerful, state-of-the-art engine in the world.
Okay, I am picturing it.
Right. So it is a multi-million-dollar marvel of modern engineering, and it is sitting right there in your driveway. But there is a massive catch.
Let me guess, it doesn't fit.
Exactly. You have absolutely no tools to install it. The connections do not match your car. The fuel lines are completely different. And I mean, you are not even sure your transmission can handle that kind of horsepower.
Yeah, and that stuck-in-the-driveway scenario is really the defining challenge for the technology industry right now.
It really is.
The whole, shiny new object phase of artificial intelligence is over. And the incredibly complex reality of enterprise integration is finally setting in.
So to understand how this is playing out, we are looking at a very specific stack of sources for today's deep dive. We have OpenAI's official June 14th, 2026 announcement of their brand new partner network.
Right, along with the detailed requirements from their official partner page.
Exactly. And then to give us the broader market context, we are bringing in industry reporting from Channel Dive, Channel Vision, and CRN.
So the core event here is that OpenAI officially introduced a global partner network. And the stated goal is to help third-party companies build, sell, and deliver AI solutions.
Which sounds pretty standard, right?
It does, but the detail that signals a massive shift in the market actually comes from the reporting by Channel Dive and Channel Vision.
Oh, the investment part.
Yes. OpenAI is backing this launch with an initial investment of $150 million to support the ecosystem.
Okay, but wait. If you are a cutting-edge AI lab, a company whose entire identity is built on pushing the boundaries of computing, why divert $150 million away from building the next, faster model?
It is a great question.
I mean, shouldn't a revolutionary product just sell itself? You would think multinational corporations would just be lining up with their credit cards.
You would think so, yeah. But the industry has hit what we call a deployment bottleneck. Let's explain that term.
Yes, let's take a clear pause for the vocabulary.
In plain English, a deployment bottleneck is the specific stage where rolling out a new technology gets stuck or delayed.
So, for example, you might say in a business meeting, strict security protocols became a major deployment bottleneck for our software.
Exactly. And, the consumer side of AI was easy. You log into a web interface, you type a prompt, and you get an answer.
Right, super simple.
But an enterprise is a massive, complex organism. It has legacy software, rigid firewalls, and highly specific workflows. The technology is just getting stuck trying to cross from the pristine laboratory into that messy corporate environment.
That makes sense. And that implies the core issue is implementation capacity. Let's define that term as well.
Okay.
Implementation capacity simply means an organization's ability to actually absorb and put new technology to work.
Right.
A short example sentence would be, the hospital bought the new software, but lacked the implementation capacity to properly install it.
That is a perfect example. OpenAI realizes they cannot physically hold the hand of every single enterprise customer on Earth.
No, they would need thousands of people for that.
Right. They simply do not have the internal headcount or the time to do that. So this $150 million investment proves that the AI race is no longer just about whether the model works in a lab.
It is entirely about outfitting a massive external workforce to go into these companies, figure out the plumbing, and wire this intelligence into their daily operations.
Exactly.
But, I understand the lab to real-world transition. Let's look closer at what these partners are actually doing, though. Because typically when I hear about a software partner network, it just means finding people to resell licenses.
Like an affiliate program.
Yeah, exactly. You take a commission to basically pass along a login credential.
Well, the OpenAI partner page describes something much, much deeper than just reselling. On their portal, they outline this highly structured flow, described as a path to apply, enable, and grow.
Right, I saw that.
They're providing formal onboarding, extensive technical training, and architectural resources. They are not just finding salespeople.
They're outfitting a massive construction crew.
Yes. And that brings us to our next crucial business English term, which is systems integration.
Okay, let's break that down. In plain English, systems integration means connecting different computing systems and software applications physically or functionally so they act as a coordinated whole.
Right.
For example, we hired a consulting firm to handle the systems integration between our new AI and our old accounting platform.
Exactly. And this is critical because most large companies are running on this wild patchwork of software that has been stitched together over the last 20 years.
Right, it is never just one clean database.
Never. Consider a global logistics company, right? They might want an AI to dynamically analyze their shipping routes, but their real-world shipping data is locked inside a proprietary on-premise database built in, like, 2012.
Oh, wow, yeah, that is a nightmare.
You cannot simply plug an AI model into that and expect it to work. Traditional software integration was just about moving numbers from one database column to another.
But AI integration is entirely different.
It is. An AI needs structured, vectorized data to understand the semantic relationship between documents and retrieve accurate context.
Right, because if a company simply feeds the AI scattered, unstructured spreadsheets and poorly labeled PDFs, the model will just hallucinate.
Exactly. It will give you highly confident, incredibly wrong answers.
Because it cannot parse the historical context of the messy data.
Right. And fixing that requires heavy data engineering. A partner firm has to go in, build the technical pipelines to extract that old data, clean it, vectorize it, and translate it into a modern format the AI can actually read.
And OpenAI obviously cannot manage that tedious data modernization process for every single customer.
No way. Which highlights why AI vendors need partners with domain expertise. Let's pause on that term.
Domain expertise, yes. This refers to deep, specialized knowledge in a particular field or industry.
Right.
For example, the consultant's domain expertise in healthcare made her the perfect person to lead the hospital's tech upgrade.
That is a great sentence. You know, OpenAI knows how to build a neural network, but they do not necessarily know the complex compliance regulations for processing medical claims in the European Union.
Right, or the specific supply chain terminology for manufacturing aerospace parts.
Exactly. A specialized partner brings that domain expertise, combines it with OpenAI's technology, and builds what we call an industry-specific solution.
Let's define that for our learners. In plain English, an industry-specific solution is a product or service customized to solve the unique problems of a particular sector.
Right.
An example sentence is, the software vendor developed an industry-specific solution for retail banks.
Spot on. The partner builds a tool that actually solves a real business problem rather than just delivering a cool technology demonstration.
But here's the thing. Even if a partner successfully bridges that 2012 database to the AI, they hit a second wall that really has nothing to do with software at all.
Oh, the human element.
Yes. The sources show OpenAI explicitly stating that partners are there to help customers define strategy, redesign operating models, and manage change across global workforces.
Right.
And honestly, when I first read those phrases in an AI announcement, my eyes just glazed over.
It is very corporate, yeah.
It sounds like management consulting from the 1990s. Why is a cutting-edge computer science lab suddenly talking about human resources problems?
Well, the mechanism of value creation is totally shifted. You can have the cleanest data foundation in the world, and you can have perfect systems integration.
Right.
But a powerful model is completely useless if the employees just refuse to change how they actually work. Which brings us to workflow redesign.
Let's define workflow redesign. In plain English, this means fundamentally changing the step-by-step processes of how daily work is done within a company.
Right.
For example, the new automation software required a complete workflow redesign for the accounting team.
Exactly. The reason this is so critical in AI is that the technology fundamentally alters the employee's role.
How so?
Well, think about a marketing manager who used to spend 4 hours writing a report manually. Now they spend 10 minutes prompting an AI and then 30 minutes verifying the output.
So their job shifts from being a creator to being an editor.
Exactly. And if the company does not formally redesign the workflow to account for that, the human element becomes a massive barrier. Which brings us to another key term, change management.
Yes, change management. This term means the structured approach to transitioning individuals and teams to a new desired state of working.
Right.
For example, without proper change management, the staff will just keep using their old, familiar spreadsheets.
And that happens all the time. There is profound psychological friction when introducing AI. If an employee does not trust the AI's output, they will do parallel work.
Parallel work, like doing it twice.
Yes, they will use the AI,
Yeah.
but then they will just do the work manually anyway to double-check it. which actually doubles the time spent.
Yeah, so the tool actually makes them less efficient if they do not trust it.
Exactly. The ultimate goal here is adoption at scale.
Let's put that in simple English. Adoption at scale means getting a large, organization-wide group of people to consistently use a new tool or process.
Right.
Example sentence: the pilot program was successful, but achieving adoption at scale across all global offices proved difficult.
Because it is relatively easy to get, like, 5 enthusiastic tech early adopters in a company to use a new tool.
Oh, for sure.
But it is an entirely different universe of difficulty to get 10,000 employees across 12 time zones to abandon their old routines.
And this directly impacts time to value, doesn't it?
It absolutely does.
In business English, time to value is the length of time between purchasing a product and seeing a financial or operational benefit.
Yes.
So an example would be cloud software typically offers a much faster time to value than traditional hardware.
Right. So if it takes 2 years for employees to break their old habits and actually trust the new AI system, the time to value is terrible.
Because the enterprise sees no return on investment.
Exactly. And then they eventually just cancel their software contract.
So to prevent those contract cancellations, partners have to go in and adjust the operating model.
Yes.
An operating model is the abstract representation of how an organization fundamentally operates and delivers value. For example, the shift to remote work forced the company to completely overhaul its operating model.
That is a great definition. The partner network is not just there to install the software. They are there to hold the organization's hand through the psychological and operational friction of changing how the business fundamentally runs.
So the technology itself is only half the battle.
Maybe even less than half, honestly. The realization sweeping the industry is that execution, strategy, and managing human habits are now essential features of the AI product itself.
That is a massive shift in perspective. And as we enter the final third of our deep dive today, let's transition into our dedicated English learning layer for the broader market context.
That's good.
We have explored the technical and psychological mechanisms behind enterprise AI adoption. Now let's look at the industry reporting from CRN and Channel Dive and learn the final crucial expressions you need to describe this macro shift.
So the channel reporting highlights that this is OpenAI's first ever formal partner program.
Right.
But more importantly, Channel Dive notes that OpenAI is actually following their rival, Anthropic, into what the technology industry calls the channel.
The channel, meaning the massive, sometimes invisible network of third-party vendors and consultants who sell software on behalf of the creators.
Exactly. And this brings us to a really vital strategic term, which is go-to-market leverage.
Okay, let's define that one. In business English, go-to-market leverage is the strategic advantage a company gains by using partners to distribute, sell, and implement a product much faster and wider than they could alone.
Right.
Let's listen to a short example sentence. By partnering with local consulting firms, the software vendor gained massive go-to-market leverage in the European market.
Perfect. The mechanism behind this leverage is fascinating. I mean, if OpenAI relies only on their own direct enterprise sales team, they can only knock on so many doors.
Right, there are only so many hours in a day.
And they can only manage a handful of complex data integrations at once. But by activating a services ecosystem, which simply means a network of third-party companies providing implementation and support for a core product, they recruit a proxy army.
A proxy army. I like that. A good example sentence for that term is, Microsoft built a massive services ecosystem to ensure their software was expertly installed in every corporate office in the world.
Yes. And OpenAI is using that $150 million initial investment to essentially buy that ecosystem before their competitors do.
They are leveraging the existing relationships, the regional presence, and the domain expertise of these partners to scale globally almost overnight.
Exactly. What we are witnessing here is a fundamental shift in how the artificial intelligence arms race is actually being fought.
How so?
Well, for the last few years, this has really been a race between AI labs to see who could build the smartest prototype,
Right.
who had the highest benchmark scores on a logic test.
Right, the language of the industry was completely dominated by engineering terms, like parameters and context windows.
Exactly. But now the language is officially shifting from engineering vocabulary to operational vocabulary.
Because the race has changed.
Yes, it is no longer just a race for the smartest model. It is now a race to build the biggest, most capable delivery network.
Because the smartest model does not win if it is stuck in the corporate driveway, unable to connect to the legacy databases.
Exactly. The company that wins the enterprise AI race will not necessarily be the one with a marginally better algorithm. The winner will be the company that provides the most frictionless route, from a cool prototype to scaled, everyday adoption.
They win by having the best implementation capacity out in the field.
Precisely.
Well, as we wrap up this deep dive into the OpenAI partner network, let's distill this discussion into 3 core takeaways for your business strategy and your English learning.
Okay, takeaway number 1. The bottleneck in artificial intelligence has moved from the laboratory to the enterprise. The main challenge is no longer computing power. It is systems integration and the tedious modernization of weak legacy data foundations.
Excellent. Takeaway number 2. The human element is now half of the product. An AI model only generates value if employees actually use it. Therefore, workflow redesign and change management are non-negotiable requirements for achieving adoption at scale and ensuring a fast time to value.
And takeaway number 3. The competitive race has shifted from building models to building distribution. By investing $150 million to build a services ecosystem, OpenAI is chasing go-to-market leverage. They are following competitors like Anthropic into a race to build the most capable delivery network in the world.
It really completely reframes how you should look at every new technology announcement going forward.
It does. The first question to ask is no longer just, what can this software do? But rather, who is actually going to do the hard work of setting it up?
Exactly. And we want to leave you with a final thought to mull over regarding your own organization or industry. Look at the businesses around you today. What slows AI adoption more inside a company today? Unclear use cases, weak data foundations, integration work, or employee adoption?
It is a great question to think about.
It really is. Thank you for joining us on AI Business English Daily, and we will see you next time.